You are about to watch the most shambolic.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Incompetent.
Escape for another day.
Utterly shite.
The fleets that have set forth from the purple kingdoms.
Book review.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
Ever.
The main octopus guardian that pilots them.
Created.
No.
Come on, baby.
Viewer discretion is advised. Yes. Yes.
Welcome, fellow traveller. We have come a long way, you and I. Some might say too far. Traversing lands, strange lands, and dimensions beyond our ken, or my ken. The constant struggle to remember arcane names that proliferate these Elric novels. Well, here we are. We're at the end point, the 6th installment. Stormbringer! Yes, the name of Elric's dear Hellblade. And this is the end in many ways than one. But we'll get to that in a moment. Isn't that a wonderful cover? Let's peruse it just a little. So this is my Mayflower edition, 1974. It's a wonderful image, I think you'll agree, but it's also quite hard to pass. I'm not sure that I fully understand it. So we have a very stylized fortress there with some kind of orb emanating from the summit. Perhaps a spell has been enacted. Perhaps it's some other arcane shit that we do not understand and never will. And hovering above it is what looks like perhaps a prawn that's been chomped by a demon. But no, I think this is a representation of the Dragon Isle. Melnibone itself, perhaps, who knows, it might be a shit. It might be Elric's last shit. Yes, could be. But anyway, that's my edition. There's been many versions. This is the only one, so the very last of the 6, that I don't have one of the Michael Whelan covers. But I do like this one. I do like it a lot. But my version's a bit damaged. It's got light damage on it and it's been thrashed around a fair bit. And I'm afraid I've added to the torture of this book. Tim over at Secret Fire Books is likely to flame me alive for this desecration. But as ever, I've dog-eared the pages or my progression through this book. This took me 14 days to get through, 2 weeks to get through this devil. So I should say right from the get-go that this is, I think, my favourite of the books so far. Well, it's my favourite one, yes. However, the number of notches on this book suggests the trouble that I had with it. I found it a challenging read. But as challenging as it was, it contained wonderful, wonderful things. The ending of the world as Elric knew it, the ending of everything or everyone that Elric's ever met, the ending, spoiler, of Elric himself. It's hard to understand, I know. I wasn't prepared for this. I didn't think that Elric was going to bite the dust in this. Yes, this is a massive spoiler. Elric dies. Now, I thought the immortal champion, no one can kill Elric. He's going to live forever. And, well, perhaps he does in the various incarnations of the immortal hero. But Elric has an ending, and it ends right here, my lads. And shock horror, it ends at the hands, or rather the blade, of his steely companion, Stormbringer. Yes, the blade ends up biting him in the ass in the end. But anyway, we'll get to all of that later. First of all, I need to reread the book and tell you what it's all about. No. Yeah, I am actually going to have to reacquaint myself with what's going on here. No. I don't know if I will, I'm going to try and wing it. I'm going to wing it in such a way as I'm not going to go through each of the stories. I'm just going to pick out little bits that are somewhere up in my head and try and make sense of the whole thing. The main bent of these short stories in this final volume is about the ending of the world, my lads. And Elric, of course. And that's what I love so much about it. The scope of this thing is incredible. I've never encountered anything quite so apocalyptic within this genre of sword and sorcery. Of course, I haven't really read much within this at all, but it was quite a surprise. It was a shock even. So this begins, as far as I remember it, with Elric's dear wife, the 17-year-old girl that he met in the previous installment. She has been kidnapped, my loves, by demons. Demon spawn. Elric manages to kill some of these fellows in his bedchamber. But he uses a spell to bring one of them back to life, to find out what's happened to his dear wife, who goes by the name of Zarozinia. Of course she is. I love this beginning. So using this very dark magic, he's able to wrest this information out of this already dead demon. So it is dead, of course, but it's speaking from the depths of whatever hell that Elric sent it. I thought it was wonderful, a wonderful beginning to this story. And so the long and the short of it is Zarozinia, I can't believe I just remembered that. Is that her name? Yes, Zarozinia has been spirited away far into the west, I believe. Could be the east, but I think it's the west. And she is kind of bait for Elric. Elric is being led to the other side of the world towards a conflagration, a great war that is about to be waged by the theocrat of Pantang, a sorcerous bastard by the name of... is it on the back? Is it? It's not on the back. Devil. Motherfucker. I knew this would be shit. Jagreen Lern.
To everybody that be living it up, we say
Jagreen Lern. What a name. Jagreen Lern is an absolute bastard.
To everybody that be living it up, we say
these upstarts from Pantang, I'm pretty sure it's called Pantang. It doesn't matter. But anyway, this Sorcerer's Isle, these upstarts turn out to be quite devilish, don't they? So they're always causing Elric's vexations, and this is the final straw. So they are trying to take over the world, but more than that, they are bringing chaos into the mix. They want chaos to rule the world for whatever fucking reason. I have no idea, because when chaos gets involved in things just go straight to hell. So Jagreen,
to everybody that be living it up, we say
he wears this glowing red suit of armor. I remember that.
we treat this chick more better.
Anyway, there's this great big battle. The forces of the Young Kingdoms rallied against this Jagreen,
Chick more better.
and they lose. They lose the first great battle. And I have no idea what I'm talking about.
To everybody that be living it up, we say so everybody that be living it up.
Okay, I'm back. I've refreshed my memory. Wikipedia, a fine spell. No, but yes, what it is this this god has been brought into the mix, and the god demands of Elric his Hellblade and his cousin's Hellblade, Mournblade. No, fuck, what's it called?
Chick more better.
Yes, Mournblade. I was right. Anyway, this god is called Darnazan, I think. This god previously killed himself because he was so scared of the Hellblades these twin blades. So he would rather fuck off back to his own dimension than deal with this Hellblade, or two of them. So he has a proposition for them. Give me your Hellblades and I will give you back Zarozinia. Elric is in love. This is a formidable force. This has never happened before with Elric. He's willing to give up the whole world for his wife. Now, if that isn't a gesture of love, I don't know what is. So, he gives the god his Hellblade and Mournblade as well. But then he does a spell and calls the blade back to him and destroys the god. But he gets his wife back. But however, this has set into motion the end of the world as we know it, or as Elric knows it. Then what? Okay, it's utterly pointless me trying to explain what's going on. I know it, but I don't know it well enough for you to understand what I'm talking about. If you've read it, you already know. So why are you watching me? Perhaps it's because you're under my spell. Yes, it must be that. It's completely pointless me trying to rehash what happens in these books when I can barely remember it. Refreshing my memory with Wikipedia, which is a dark spell anyway, is completely pointless. I think what I'll do instead is just talk about the bits that I remember, and I think the bits that have stuck are perhaps the bits that actually mean the most to me. Perhaps that's why you're watching me now. Perhaps. But anyway, I think, so we're dealing here with the Dukes of Hell, so the likes of Ariok. They have been pulled into the mortal realm to aid Jagreen.
To everybody that be living it up, we say.
And Elric is faced with an impossible task here. He has to pit himself against his god, the god of chaos. So that's one part of it. So they travel to Pantang itself on special steeds that have been given to them by a mysterious benefactor by the name of something beginning with S, but I can't remember. These horses are quite incredible steeds because they can ride over anything, my loves. Land, sea, well, land and sea, but incredible speeds. So they go straight to Elric's like, fuck this. We are going straight to Jagreen. We're going to show him who's boss. Jagreen bottles it. But he need not be worried. He has the Dukes of Hell at his disposal, and they present themselves. And their members. No, they don't know. So Elric and his cousin are faced with this devilish brood, this hellish brood. What happens, my loves? Well, something very devious indeed. There is a special ability of these Hellblades. They can be called into a special frenzy. They can call upon their brother blades, apparently. And I'm probably misremembering this. But thousands and thousands of blades that all come into play, twirling around and chopping at things. Long and the short of it is, these Dukes of Hell are banished forever back to their hellish dimension, never to return. However, Elric has been weakened by this experience and is captured by Jagreen.
To everybody that be living it up, we say.
And his Hellblade disappears.
Better.
We get to encounter these hell-spawned galleons. Now, I can't remember what they're called. I'm not going to bother looking them up, but you know what I mean. These fucking great ghostly chaos galleon things, huge things, and so they're aboard there. These are laying waste to the final defense of the young kingdoms, the fleets that have set forth from the purple kingdoms, something like that. Anyway, it's all going to hell in a handbasket. At one point, Elric gets so desperate because he sees Moonglum. Moonglum's in dire straits, and so he calls upon his Hellblade, which for a long time has just disappeared. It comes back, and he gets his energy back, saves Moonglum, and they escape for another day. Anyway, the Purple Kingdoms is called something about the purple or something. Anyway, they go to this place, and they learn of a special artifact that will be able to counter the forces of chaos. Now, already chaos is causing havoc. It's starting to warp reality. Now, this is my favorite aspect of the book, the way the earth is being destroyed, but not so much destroyed, but corrupted utterly. And so luckily these magical steeds that somehow come back into their possession, but I can't remember, I'm probably doing it out of time or whatever. But anyway, these steeds are able to pass over the chaos warped environment. And so the ocean itself is warped into chaos. The land is chaos. The creatures and humans that previously inhabited the world have been warped by the chaos. It's incredible. It's the stuff of nightmares, my loves. The stuff of nightmares. Now, I did mark one page as I was reading it because it really sums up the terrible situation at hand, but also the deft way that Moorcock describes it. This is wonderful, right? The world seemed a dead corpse, given life in corruption by virtue of the vermin which fed upon it. Isn't that wonderful? Of mankind nothing was left, save for the free mounted on the dragons. Now, no, I've bypassed a fair... This is right near the end. Yes, dragons are called into the mix. Okay, so before the dragons, they decide to go for Jagreen's encampment. Anyway, Elric discovers that he can... Wait a minute, where am I? At some point, Elric goes on a mission and gets a special shield. A shield of chaos, so it will protect him from the effects of chaos. He has to get it from a giant, a sad giant who lives in a castle with a winding path up to it with elder trees, I think. And the elder trees are evil. And so the leaves come off these trees and attack Elric and sap his energy. That's one thing that happens. Elric gets the shield. Yes. Later on, this is probably out of order. These hell galleons can only be destroyed if you destroy the main octopus guardian that pilots them. I don't know his name, doesn't matter. Anyway, Elric destroys him. In so doing, all of these hell galleons are destroyed. So Elric's making good progress. He's banished the Dukes of Hazzard, back to Hazzard County. He's destroyed the hell galleons. At some point within this mix, I don't remember where it happens, but Jagreen says, "Look, I have something for you in my cabin. It's Zarozinia." He took her.
Come on, baby.
Unfortunately, he's turned Zarozinia into a great big worm. Wormy! It's quite a shocking thing, my loves, but surrounded by all of this chaos, this warping of reality, this change that's been brought about to Zarozinia is equally horrific, but you're not surprised. Everything's just turning to hell. So imagine this beautiful, beautiful 17-year-old head of Zarozinia residing on the end of a fucking great big fat bloated worm. Now that is what Elric encounters. It's absolutely hellish and horrific, and Zarozinia kills herself, commits suicide upon Elric's blade. And so her soul is sucked into his blade. I mean, it just hellish shit happens. Dragons. Yes, dragons. Right, dragons. Elric goes on another mission. into another dimension. Now, this happens a number of times. I'm completely confused where and when these dimensions open. But he goes into, I think, into the future, and he needs to bring back a special horn. I think it's called the elephant. Elephant? Something to do with an elephant.
Come on, baby.
Perhaps the trunk of an elephant that he blows. I don't know. But anyway, this thing is being guarded by a dead warrior by the name of Roland. I remember this bit. And so he has to battle this Roland. And he gets the horn. Now, this horn, if you blow it once, you wake the dragons. If you blow it twice, you summon the White Lords. I think they're called the White Lords. Now, the White Lords are the counterbalance to chaos. Law. The Lords of Law? So we need to summon them. So Elric blows the horn once he gets back to Melniboné. So in Melniboné, he returns, this whole thing comes full circle. He goes back to Melniboné, back to the tower where he destroyed Yrkun and Silmaril. Fucking hell, I remembered. He goes back to the ruins of this tower, and that's where he goes. He goes to the summit of it and kind of jumps off and ends up in this another dimension where he gets the elephant's trunk. Yes, comes back, and he uses this to wake the dragons. Yes, the Dragon Isle, they keep a brood of dragons that are very sleepy. They never wake up, of course. So he honks once on the old horn. The dragons wake up. But this depletes Elric's energy and then some, my loves. He's more or less dead. He's very limp. He's just barely on the dragon himself. But the dragons go off to do battle with the agents of chaos that remain. And Jagreen, the motherfucker.
Another episode.
At some point, yes, there's a battle between Chaos and the dragons. They're firing shit at them. Yes, that was a lovely image. So the ravages of Chaos pitted against Elric, his cousin. Moonglum's on one of these damn dragons. God knows how he survived this long, but he has. And I think Elric lands and destroys another god. Or banishes. These gods can't be destroyed. They can just be banished. He banishes one of these gods. Very interesting gods these are. Very interestingly described. And the attributes that they have. Of course, I can't remember any of it. But yes, very interesting. Banishes one of those buggers. And he bests Jagreen. But he doesn't just kill Jagreen. He doesn't just suck his soul out with the Hellblade. With Stormbringer. No, he tortures the poor fucker for an hour in the old Melnibonéan tradition of torture. He only stops because Moonglum just begs him to stop and just end it because he's seen enough. I mean, Moonglum is constantly, I suppose, part of his sense of young kingdom's form of morality, perhaps? I don't know. But anyway, he allows him to, he ends Jagreen. Jagreen's fucked off. Oh yes, the White Lords are here. They're doing battle. Yes, he's called them. He did the second trumpet on the wherever. So there's a battle going on. So in a way, it's like antimatter and matter going together, and blah, 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 nothing. All that's left at the end. The cousin bites the dust on the dragon. I think the dragon he's riding, yes, bites the dust. The rest of the dragons fly back home to Melniboné. All that's left in the end. Where are we? All we're left with is Elric and Moonglum, the last two humans in the whole world. Or so it would seem. The rest has all been fucked off. Elric has to blow the horn a third time. The third time, if you blow it the third time, it's the end of the world. So it's the kind of great reset, basically. So Chaos and Law have cancelled each other out, so we can start again. And I believe what happens thereafter is that we inherit the earth after that. Us. And so Elric and Moonglum are left at the end. That's right. He can only blow the elephant's trunk or the elephant or the horn for the third time if he's got enough energy. Where's he going to get this energy from? Moonglum. Yes, he kills Moonglum with Stormbringer. I mean, he doesn't want to, but it has to happen. And blows on this horn. And what's the last thing this fucking Hellblade does but kills Elric? After killing Elric, this is quite near the end, perhaps the last page, the blade just flies up into the air, cackling like a demonic bastard, and that's the end of the story. So there we are. Wasn't that fun? This will probably be unwatchable, but I'm going to put it on anyway, just because I just don't think I can do anything with it.
Come on, baby, this is typical, everyday, one night thing. It's a physical, I'ma love you tonight, dang. Look, calling your name, go jump on in the range and roll over. I just really wanted to hold you.
Now, the thing that I don't like about any of these, this is my one negative thing, is that it's all rather superficial. So magical, wonderful things happen. Incredibly dark things happen. Spells, runes, lovely young ladies, 17-year-olds, blood, gut, all of that. Lots happens, but in a superficial sense. We never get very deep, and there's never enough to lock into my head, at least. I mean, when I read a summation of what each story is about, it all comes back, but then it goes away again. I don't think it's just because my brain is completely shagged, but it could be that. It's more because it's all surface in a way. It's beautifully written, amazing imagery. The stories themselves are wonderful in their own right, but they're also, I don't know, there's just little morsels, really. You never really get, it's all skin deep, that's what I'm trying to say. And so it never really lodges in my noggin. And so that's the one drawback. However, I've said about everything that I love about these stories in past videos. I won't go back over it all, but this final one was the best in that I'd never encountered anything that had such a vast scope in terms of an apocalyptic ending of the world. After working so hard to create this world, to populate it with all of these different cultures, the lore, the magic and everything else, it's just utterly destroyed. And as I was getting towards the end, I thought, how is Elric going to bring all of this back together? I mean, people that he loved, they just were capering around in monstrous forms. It reminded me as well of like Area X from the Jeff Vandermeer books. Just things that have been completely stretched and fucked with, no way back. And so it would seem there's nothing Elric can do to remedy this situation other than just kind of snuff the whole thing out and start again. So yes, right, that was my favourite one. This is my favourite collection of short stories. Hard to grapple with, and so a bit harder to read, perhaps. It's hard to get through, I would say, but I enjoyed it. Anyway, thank you for watching this absolutely shambolic video. I'll try harder on the next one, I promise. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with some more cock. No, not really. Anyway, cheers. Cheerio.